In mobile technology, it's the same story every single time. The media goes crazy over every hot new device, and after that review period wears off, so does the buzz behind that new toy you might still want to buy, but that now faces new competition. In the real world, things shouldn't be that way. For most of us, aging is just as important as the moment you unbox your product for the first time. It's how that device performs after extensive use that really matters down the line. So let's do something about it. Let's take a second look at Google's top-of-the-line smartphone and see if it's still worth buying today. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is our Google Nexus 6P After the Buzz. The Nexus 6P has marked my return to a pure Android phone ever since my beloved Galaxy Nexus. Google got kind of lost in its plan to defy technology through a pure Android experience with either phones that were too cheap or too expensive and large. 2015 has been the year of choice for Nexus devices, and before our crazy review season of this year, the Nexus 6P was my phone of choice. I was really glad to feel right at home with using it on my recent trip to China. Google's Project Fi is not only the least expensive way to go prepaid in the United States, but also an amazing roaming tool for just $10 a gigabyte abroad. I actually encountered trouble in my return flight from Shenzhen, and Project Fi saved my butt. And here's the thing about Google's approach to the Nexus 6P and Nexus 5X. For the first time in a while, this phone has gone beyond the ideal of pure Google and has focused on being useful to the user in ways that go beyond just launching a smartphone. In the looks department, the front of the phone continues to be as average a smartphone as can be, but when seen from the back, I still get asked what phone this is thanks to its uniqueness. That hardware hasn't aged perfectly though. This gold variant has fallen off my hands a couple of times, and the chamfer did not really survive that well. For spec heads out there, the internals could also spell dated flagship given how well 2016 has been in this department. About the only thing where the Nexus 6P beats others is in the speed of its fingerprint scanner, and how complete its always-on display is whenever it decides to work. Now, we have to remember that a Nexus smartphone is really designed to showcase Google software, and even here it's aged in a mixed way. This gorgeous 5.7-inch AMOLED panel continues to compete with others very well, and elements like the front-firing speakers contribute into making this a very immersive phone for content consumption.
Size is easy to train and genuinely quick at unlocking your phone even from funky angles.
The juice in the power pack has also proven to be quite enough to have peace of mind when consuming that content as well. Software elements like Google Now on Tap keep getting more useful and reliable as time goes by, and Google's stock applications have also received major updates in functionality since we reviewed it. The thing about this phone is that it's unapologetically large for day-to-day use. We've seen displays this large with more efficient bezels for added ergonomics. I'm sure the added heft is fine for some of you, but as it stands, stock Android is the least friendly of skins to help you use this phone with one hand, and also the one that least takes advantage of Quad HD resolution. Again, these are not really reasons to complain, but just keep in mind that there is a lot of finger travel involved in using this phone as your daily driver. True, a benefit is that this device is bloat-free, which should result in unparalleled performance, but even though games perform great, it isn't the best in day-to-day usage where we do see minor stutters here and there. In previous software versions, we even had cases where the device would slow down to a crawl, but software updates have helped improve that. And that's really the cool thing about this smartphone overall. We know that if things don't work well right now, Google will update the software soon, and the promise of Android N is also coming up as well. One department where I continue to be delighted by the Nexus 6P is with its camera. This is actually the first Nexus I've ever used that takes photos comparable to its competition. Sure, recent comparisons with the Galaxy S7 have proven that photos on the 6P are somewhat darker in regular lighting. That being said, the f2.0 aperture and 1.55 microns on this 12.3 megapixel shooter do an amazing job at night. There are cases where the 6P produces better photos than competitors in that particular scenario, though keep in mind that this camera is much slower at taking the shot, especially if you're using HDR+. The 8-megapixel selfie camera can also delight in most cases, and we love that we don't need to fumble with switching off beautifying modes because this is Google, there's no need for that. Probably the only case where this phone's camera doesn't really compare with others is with video stabilization because, well, there is no optical image stabilization in the sensor, and you can clearly tell that the phone jitters a lot once you pull the footage into a computer. Overall, I'd say that this is a great camera for day-to-day photos, but only above average when it comes to video. And the words above average are probably the best segue to end our second look at this device. The Google Nexus 6P may not be the most advanced Android smartphone you can buy in 2016, but most of the things that it can do almost as well as flagships today. It's hard to call this phone future-proof in the hardware department, but when it comes to software, even today this continues to be the best phone for those of you that want to try Android N early, or the next version that comes after that. I do believe that this device could benefit from a little of a discount from that $499 price tag at 32 gigabytes of non-expandable storage, but it's not like if you're buying a regular phone either. The Google Nexus 6P continues to be a unique offering that stands out in looks and in what it can do overall. The only question left is if you're willing to grab this one now or wait for its successor later this year. Folks, just like in the case of the Google Nexus 6P, there are a ton of episodes of After the Buzz already available and much more to come. So make sure you follow us on social media and hit that subscribe button down below for more videos like this one. You can also catch our videos on vessel.com/Pocketnow, and follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, or on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.